the real missing key parts of the jigsaw that can make Arsenal real contenders next season. By Muha AnkoAnko Well, we have all been mentioning the key players that Arsenal needs to sign before the season starts, and I'm inclined to agree with most of the comments. But well, let's take a look at key aspects of a winning team and line them up against what we have at the moment, shall we? The first and foremost is the players. Here I am talking about the players on the field. If we compare our players to the other 19 teams in the EPL, then we may find ourselves smiling. But if we compare them with the top 6, we may start to worry a bit, especially when we look at the top 3. All in all, I think Tottenham, Chelsea and us may have almost the same quality players, because especially Spurs, if you minus Lloris, Eriksen and Kane, they have average players all through with seasonal players around them. Well, Chelsea, Courtois, Kanté, Cesc and Hazard can be called WC also, the rest can be termed as average seasonal players in my opinion. Well, to me these two teams beat us in defense and partly midfield. But none of them can match our firepower up front and creativity in midfield. Well, further up, we have United, City and Liverpool, who I consider favourites this season by the way. Well, United have arguably the best goalkeeper along with Liverpool. City can't boast the same in my opinion. Their goalkeeper only fits their footballing philosophy, other than that he is average. In defense, Liverpool have Van Dijk, as maybe WC, United have none in my opinion, while City have Stones who may not actually be WC. In midfield, City have the most firepower in the EPL and Kevin De Bruyne, Silva D. While United have Pogba, and Liverpool may well speak of Keita and Fabinho, but I am not so sure about them in the EPL. Up front is where all changes. United, apart from Sanchez at his best, have average seasonal players. Liverpool have Salah, but for all we know he may be a one-season wonder. City have Aguero and maybe Jesus. While we can't compete with these teams on paper, up front we may dare say we have one of the best, if not the best. At their best, Ozil, Cech and Koscielny can fit in the categories above. So we may not by all means call ourselves favorites, but we surely are somewhere. The second part is the manager. As we all know, managers may not be miracle workers, they surely play a huge role. Here I am talking about tactics and team morale. The top 6 have the best in the league. We may also add West Ham there as they have a league winner at the helm. Here is where I feel we may have the edge. I am not saying by any means that Emery is the best, but we can that him and Sarri are the new managers that brings new tactics in the league. Some may argue that City and Liverpool and Spurs may have the edge because of their players and manager camaraderie, but most other teams knows exactly what to expect from them and may now have a plan in place to stop them. City actually may have the usual champions syndrome for all we know. Now for us, we can all agree as mentioned up there, this time we have a manager that can plan for opposition and employ tactics that can get the best out of the players we have. That being said, our average players may be hidden with the quality players and tactics around us. That's something we should all look forward to this season. Third is luck and circumstances. For instance, the last 3 EPL champions have only one. City can be credited for having the best players and manager. The other 2 have relied so much on circumstances and luck. Looking at Leicester and Chelsea for that matter, they both had luck in the fact that they didn't have European commitments. They can also be added to the category above of having an unpredictable, unknown managerial tactics. This season though, we have of course European commitments, but one can say Europa up until the last 8 we may not face really quality teams. But we also have the World Cup effect here. United have already started complaining. City, Spurs and Chelsea still have players missing. Only us and Liverpool can say have most our first 11 available. This is by no means a guarantee, but it will come in handy, trust me. If luck and injuries and refereeing decisions favor us, who knows? Fourth, the financial support and transfers. Well, this may not be our favorite part, but we can all agree that the board, though second grade, have tried and we have seen changes. Some may argue that we have only brought in average players bar Torreira, but the fact remains we have bolstered our squad better than any other season that I can remember. We have not only strengthened our weaker spots, we have brought them in early and easy. We have not spent the most top dollar to add the usual unnecessary pressure on the new players, but we have brought in what we feel can bring a bit of ecstasy and euphoria to not only the fans, but the players also. This is important, trust me. Because, for example, Torreira, our best signing so far, does not come in with pressure that Keita, or even Fabinho comes with, considering their prices tags. The same can be said of Leno compared to Alisson. We surely could do with a winger, but one thing I am sure of, is our fans feel much better than the Spuds fans who are yet to sign a player, and United whose manager complains like Constantine used to complain about Arsene every day: cold sweat, smile, tongue out, winking face. Finally, the most important one to me. The fans. Well, we can agree that Arsenal may not be able to compete with other clubs when it comes to almost every other thing. One thing we can be sure of is our fan base. We are only second to United worldwide, which should be an advantage, but, as said above, it is a very important part of the jigsaw. Here I have to say that it is unfortunately the most disappointing part. Well, we all claim to love the club, but our hatred and opinions towards some of our players are remarkably disgusting. It is one thing to criticize a player for a bad game, season, or form, and it is another thing to completely rule out the player's abilities. It is evident with the likes of Kevin De and Mo Salah that a player is only as good as the trust and support they get from their managers and fans. Ozil divides opinions here as much as anyone else, but this lad used to perform at his peak of his powers for his national team, racking 5 Germany Player of the Year awards in the process, up until he started getting infinite indefatigable criticism from his own fans. I can dare to say that we Arsenal fans have been the meanest, to say the least, about a player who chose to join us for unknown reasons from Real Madrid. He could have picked any team, but chose Arsenal when we were losing our best players every season and did not offer the best when it comes to wages, and still all he got was criticism for every tackle he didn't make, as if it's the first rule of a number 10. For all the fingers pointed at him, it took some of his self-esteem, and here we are complaining how some players used to bully our players physically, yet we seem to be doing a good job at bullying them emotionally. The question I am asking is, when will it ever be enough for us to fully support our team through thick and thin? Yes, I am the first to agree that some of our players are average and not good enough. But one thing remains, they are our players. Until they are sold, they should remain our players and need our support at all times. If your son, brother, or even your wife has a certain deficiency, do you bash them at every opportunity you get, or you try support them as much as you can? Come on, Arsenal fans, we can make our players be the lions on field or the cats, depending on the support we give them. One of the reasons as to why Liverpool are indomitable at home is their support in their own ground. Liverpool have thrashed us or other top teams severally at Anfield with average players and managers because of the support they get at home. Why do you think they performed very well in the mighty Champions League? Is it a coincidence? Think twice. We have a new manager whose philosophy is to bring the best out of everyone, including the fans, as he is quoted saying, "Fans want their emotions to come to the surface, and the only way to make that happen is to give them a team that transmits emotion, intensity, attacking, scoring goals, competing, fighting. That awakens them." The fans want emotions. The Champions League generates more money and allows you to buy better players, but what fans really want is to enjoy their team, to win things. If you have money but you don't generate feeling and emotion, it's worthless. You can be in the Champions League and generate money, but if you get knocked out in the group, it means nothing to the fans. You've made £20 million, but what does that mean to them? Atmosphere is very important, and once again he recently said in his first fans meeting, if we have this ambience here, that we have tonight, it's a small crowd, but if we can match that ambience in the stadium at the games, then we can achieve a lot. Now it's up to us Gunners to make Emirates a fortress, to make our players play their hearts out and make them lions on the field. And maybe, just maybe, we could finally have the last laugh. Looking forward to the season already regardless. Anko Anko.